Hello there, we're Paul and Carole Loves to Travel.
And today we are here looking a little bit...
What are you trying to say?
I don't
You're
know.
talking about my hair now, aren't you?
We're in lockdown as everyone is, and we just thought we'd put this video together. That's why I explained Paul's sort of contemporary hair, would you say?
Well, I was accused of it being a bouffant the other day. There's definitely, it's all going on.
So, yeah, so we're currently in lockdown, and we're obviously thinking about cruising all the time because we can't wait to get back cruising. Now, it's a really difficult time to talk about cruising and promote cruising because no cruising is going on. So we've been thinking a lot about there's going to be huge changes to how cruising is going to go in the future. And we just thought we'd put our thoughts down on the video, didn't we? And discuss how we think cruising is going to change.
I mean, do bear in mind, obviously, this is our opinion.
Exactly.
And it's not based on any facts whatsoever.
Well, we do reason about it all the
Yes.
time. I mean, there's certain things that are no-brainers, but things that are in our heads which...
Yeah. And we'd be interested to know, some of the thoughts we have, we'd be interested to know, do you agree, do you disagree?
Yeah, so let us know in the comments below, because it's a sad time for cruising, I think, isn't it? It's had a really bad...
It's a sad time for the world. As I say, it's a sad time for cruising. Maybe it's a bit flippant.
I know, but we're talking about cruising today, aren't we? And it's, you know, it's really sad. I'm quite emotional thinking about it, about the crew and everyone. Oh, God. Oh, it's silly. But it is. It's a really difficult time. Where the hell's that come from? Anyway, so we wanted to put our thoughts on a video. I know. Mad, isn't it?
I don't know that was in the script.
No, it's not at all. But I think I do feel
5 minutes in, Carole crying. That's it.
Cruising's had such a bad rap, and I think there are things that need to change, and it's certainly a challenging time. But I think it has been unfairly damned in the press. Has it been targeted in travel? And I just wanted to put our thoughts out there, really. So let's start off with cruises to nowhere. That's something that we've thought about for a while now, isn't it? Something that does happen on for 1 or 2 nights sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
But would you consider a cruise to nowhere? Because the difficulty is with ports and boundaries and etc. being closed, if cruising did start up, who knows when, might not be end of the year or even till next year, you know, would you consider a cruise to nowhere? So obviously we know that at the moment there are cruise ships in Southampton. There's a lot of P&O on there, and obviously the Cunard ships that are just sort of sat there doing their thing, and also Dover, we know the Saga, and there's some P&O, I believe the Oceana's there as well. So you know, if they're not able to go to other countries or anywhere else, would they consider actually to get passengers on board initially to just go to and do shorter cruises, maybe just out into the Channel and back? I know we would definitely do that.
Oh, definitely. My dad, he's 85, and he wouldn't even care if they didn't even untie the rope.
No, as long as he's on the ship.
As long as he's on the ship, he loves the cruise ship experience.
He does.
So, you know, would it 5 laps of the British Isles without stopping anywhere? I mean, obviously it needs to be where they don't need to refuel, but just to get the ball rolling again, cruise-wise, is that something that the cruise companies would consider? Is that something you would consider?
Yeah, exactly. We would definitely, wouldn't we?
Yeah, definitely.
So the second thing that's got to change is sort of non-touch technique. Sort of my non-touch technique. That's my nursey head coming out. Aseptic technique needs to be done everywhere. No. Seriously, things like obviously buffets is a biggie. They're going to have to stop, aren't they?
Yes.
You know, anytime dining.
Well, I think what's going to have to happen is initially there's going to have to be less people on the ships. So if there's going to be less people on the ships, there's no point having less people on the ships if they're all allowed to turn up at the same time for, say, anytime dining.
Yeah.
So what, in our opinion, again, set dining, maybe go to 3 times per evening, which will then allow less people at each individual sitting. And obviously buffets, I think that they're going to be a big no.
Well, the buffets would be transferred, I think, into an
extra restaurant.
Yeah, depending on the design though, because obviously their design's slightly different, aren't they? So that's a huge challenge. Obviously, disposable menus potentially, or wipeable menus, or go to apps for ordering your meals. I mean, I think Princess are ahead with obviously the medallion they've got, haven't they? They're don't do that with dining at the moment, but they do that with drinks, because that's another thing. You're always signing, if you're signing for your bar tab, isn't it?
Yeah.
Swapping pens, etc. So lots of things like that are huge challenges to do less touching.
Well, it is. Well, when you say that, even with the signing situation, you've got your card, You give the waiter the card.
Yeah, it's just swapping all the time.
He takes the card away. He gives that to the barman.
Yeah.
He scans it. Where everybody else's card's also been scanned, and then he gives it back to the barman and he gives it back to you. So with that one situation, you've had 3 different people touch the card, plus that card's gone through a machine where 500 other cards have gone through that day. So, but Morella, to be fair, with their drinks thing, they've got a scanner where all you do is hold your card like that, and they scan the barcode. So maybe that's another route.
And they were all inclusive, so you didn't have to sign for anything. So that's another thing. Our cruise ship's going to become more inclusive, which is fine if you like a drink, but if you don't, then that's not fair, is it?
No, not really.
So so lots of different debates about that. Obviously, touching in lifts. Lifts are a big thing, aren't they? Because of pressing buttons. Will they have lift attendants? Will they have people regularly cleaning the lifts?
Well, they will obviously have people regularly cleaning the lifts, but at the end of the day, it's all well and good saying, because we've read stuff, they're going to clean the lifts every hour. Well, it's great cleaning the lifts every hour.
As long as you're the first person in the lift.
But the next person in that lift after they cleaned it, if he's contaminated, then for the next hour, so is the lift. So it's only as good.
Hand hygiene has always been a bone of contention with ours. We did a video quite a while back about the things that drive us crazy with cruising, which we'll put a link above. And one of them was people not washing their hands. Simple hygiene. Why people don't do it, I don't know. There's going to be more sanitisers out there. Probably a lot of the sanitising areas will be changed into hand washing. I hope that, well, I don't hope, I think the cruise lines will have to police this, because that's another issue. People walking into restaurants that haven't washed their hands and nobody challenges them. Royal Caribbean have always had a really good thing, haven't they, outside the Windjammer with the guys singing "Wash Your Hands" and stuff. And I think there'll be a lot more promoting of that sort of behaviour. Why human beings can't do that to start with is well, I just you get
just
lost.
Don't know.
I don't know. I'm lost for words.
Which I've got to be honest, I'd like to take a few minutes now just to enjoy that.
So obviously, cabin cleaning, that's going to have an impact. The cabin attendants are busy enough, aren't they?
Yeah. I think the key to all of this is less passengers, more staff.
Which is going to be a cost for the cruise companies, isn't it? But
which is going to put the cost of the cruise up.
Well, yes, and also, are people going to be more inclined to want to book a balcony cabin instead of an inside? Well, our inside cabins price is going to go down, balconies up. Who knows? This is all just, discussion.
Pure conjecture.
Yeah. So obviously going on from hand washing, there's obviously social distancing that I think it's going to become a norm in society. We're all more conscious about not shaking hands and being, 2 meters from someone. I know that's not going to become forever, but it's something we need to think about. So muster drill, embarkation, muster drill, those type of things. Is embarkation going to take over a longer period of time? Is it going to be done very strictly in time segments? Are they going to come into port and not leave till a lot later, or even stay overnight in a port to make sure they get everyone on in a safe and clean way? Muster drills, obviously, we always touch our... Not so much now, actually. We put the life jackets on. But are they going to start saying, actually, you got to be in your cabin, cabin?
Well, I'd say cabin myself.
Yeah,
but,
you have to be in your cabin and you have to watch a presentation. But then how would they police that? How would they know that you've done it? So many challenges.
The problem is with so much of this, which is another thing we're going to touch on in a minute, is it's all down to the passenger telling the truth. Because if they say, oh yes, I've done my muster drill in my cabin and all they've been doing is having a beer on the balcony, it's then going to put the cruise line in a situation that if something did happen,
they've got no proof.
And it's like, well, I didn't even know where to put me life jacket on.
Nobody told me.
So, and all difficult ones.
Obviously, with embarkation comes health screening, which is going to be a huge thing, and lots of debates going on with governments about how this is going to go forward. And we're no expert on that, but it's obviously going to be. They say over 70s are more at risk, but actually, we know some really fit 75-year-olds and some really unfit 40-year-olds. So there's going to have to be some really. I'm not looking at you.
Oh. I was taking it out of the good, the 40-year-old thing.
Well, you're way past that, my friend. So, I've lost my train of thought now.
Hey.
So,
health screening for the
Yes,
over 70s.
obviously, you know, vaccines, all that we don't know about, and we're not going to pretend that we do here. So that's all going to have a huge, huge impact on who travels and who, you know, even if you get a health questionnaire, who you got to rely on people being honest.
Well, that's right.
And sadly, that's the society we live in.
You know, the ones they take. Have you had any sickness and diarrhea in the last whatever days? I'm not trying to be funny, but people will rock up there. If they just had an episode in the car driving down there, they'd still say no to get on the ship. And,
Well, I
and
suppose.
but that's the truth. So it's going to have to be. They're going to have to do some sort of health screening at embarkation, but for people of a vulnerable nature, there is going to have to be some sort of doctor's letter to say that they're fit to travel, because it's no good taking people's word for it, because, you know, once you set sail.
Yeah, difficult. Medical facilities actually is another thing that's obviously close to my heart. I used to be a nurse on Celebrity Cruises, going back a long time ago, and things have moved on since then. But sort of infection control, where they have infection control specialists on board, they're going to have bigger facilities with isolation rooms. There's going to be, you know, a lot of impact in their policies and protocols, which, you know, I think in some ways cruising will, it will be for the better.
Well, I think what's going to happen in cruises, what's going to be echoed in
worldwide
day-to-day life. All we got to do is keep our fingers crossed for a vaccine, and then once there's a vaccine, as long as you rock up and you've got your vaccination letter to say you've been vaccinated,
but that's a long time
happy
away.
days. That's a long time away. But until then, the upshot of it is, I think there'll be less passengers, more crew.
Yeah.
Health screening.
Yeah.
Fit to travel letters. One we didn't touch upon is travel insurance, which we are horrified when we read on forums that people don't have travel insurance, which is just absolute madness. But that's obviously, I think you'll definitely have to provide documentation of travel insurance.
But that's things that that's our thoughts. We'd love to know your thoughts.
Yeah.
So let us know in the comments below. We can't wait to get cruising again, can we? As soon as we can, we'll be off on a ship somewhere or doing something.
Or nowhere, as you pointed out.
Or nowhere. Yeah. Which actually, that would suit us fine. Yes. So we're here to support the cruise industry. We can't wait to get back on board. So there we are. So that's our ramblings, I guess, about
the ramblings of two.
We did have a structure. I did have a little script, but I think we went off piste, as they say.
That's the one.
Yes. Yeah. So thanks ever so much for watching, and do let us know what you think.